In this video, we're learning about sexual and asexual reproduction. So we'll cover how sexual reproduction transfers genetic information, how asexual reproduction transfers genetic information, and finally, the key differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Let's start with sexual reproduction. The key point here is that it involves the fusion of male and female gametes, and this fusion is what we refer to as fertilisation. Because there are two parents, the offspring contain a mixture of their parents' genes, and so are genetically different. This is why you inherit characteristics from both parents, and it means that over generations, lots of variation gets introduced as each child is different. Now, gametes are cells like sperm and eggs in animals, or pollen and eggs in flowering plants. The important thing about gametes, though, is that they only have half of the genetic material of a normal cell. So where a normal human cell has 46 chromosomes, a human gamete only has 23. This is important because it means that when the two gametes fuse together, the resulting cell will have 46 chromosomes again, just like our normal cell from before. Now, this process of transferring genetic information from both parents to the offspring is what makes sexual reproduction so important for creating genetic diversity in populations. Each offspring receives a unique combination of genes from their mother and father, which is why brothers and sisters can look quite different from each other, even though they have the same parents. One thing to point out, though, is that sexual reproduction doesn't actually have to involve sex or intercourse. It just refers to the fusion of male and female gametes. For example, when plants reproduce by the combination of pollen and egg cells, it still counts as sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, by comparison, takes place with only one parent and doesn't involve any gametes. This means there's no mixing of genetic material and so no genetic variation, and in turn, that means that all the offspring are identical clones. This happens because in asexual reproduction, the parent organism transfers an exact copy of its genetic information to its offspring, so the offspring have exactly the same DNA as the parent. For eukaryotic organisms, such as plants, fungi, and a few animals, this asexual reproduction is achieved through mitosis. Then for prokaryotic organisms, such as bacteria, asexual reproduction is done by binary fission. So if we think about the key difference between sexual and asexual reproduction, it comes down to genetic diversity. Sexual reproduction creates offspring that are genetically different from their parents and each other, whilst asexual reproduction creates offspring that are genetically identical to their parent.
If you haven't heard yet, you can find all of our videos on our website, cognito.org. You'll also find questions, flashcards, exam-style questions, and past papers. And we track all of your progress so that you always know what to study next. So sign up for free by clicking here, or browse our playlist here on YouTube.